G'day guys and girls. Now this interview was a little bit of a different one. It was with myself and Tom from the system, and we included a special guest, Pete. Pete's been name changed for privacy reasons. It was filmed on the 12th of July 2022. Now, interesting stat about Pete is that he's only ever opened a sports bet account. He's never really bet online before. As well as that, he's not some high roller or anything like that. He's a normal person with 3 kids and an absolutely normal salary, and he just wants to add an additional income to his life. This was an interview to show someone who has a massive desire to get involved at both the system and the Hussla Squad, and it's a nice insight into the headspace of some of the questions that people may ask getting involved with our services, yet having absolutely no idea how they operate. As well as this, Pete shares the story of his experience growing up with a father who gambled. He also tells us how he plans to take this by the balls, and if you want to use Pete as an inspiration to get involved, he will be tracking his progress on an Instagram account that he's made purely for this called Pete Platinum. We will be following up with monthly, 3 monthly, 6 monthly, and yearly vlogs that will get posted here. If you have any other questions about how we work or how we operate, obviously send us a DM on Instagram or check all of the links in the description. All right, let's welcome Pete, who's obviously in the center. Welcome on board, mate.
Hey guys, good to be here.
Cool. So, firstly, we want to ask you where you found us, how you know us, and yeah, give us a little rundown on all that.
Yeah, easy. So, I worked with Tommy about 7 years ago now. So it's been a while since we've caught up face to face. And yeah, back then he was gambling on tennis with the Chase the Ace promo that they had way back in the day. And he found an edge on how to beat it and make a few dollars even back then. And yeah, once we sort of went our separate ways work wise, hadn't really sort of kept in touch or anything like that. And then I was sitting down with my daughter one night, settling her in bed, just flicking through YouTube shorts. Yeah, I don't know where they get that from, but up he popped.
Yeah.
And he was responding to like an Instagram post or something, calling out Trumpy and the system, saying, look, anyone can tip the favorite a minute before they jump, and this is all bullshit. And there's, of course, you're gonna back 100 winners when you're tipping, favorites a minute out from the race. How can you be charging people for that? And yeah, having known Tommy in the past and knowing that he was always sort of trying to stay a step ahead of the game, I just reached out and said, "Hi, how you going? What have you been up to? And how does all this work?"
Yeah, nice.
And here we are.
Yeah, now
interesting.
that's it. Here we are.
Was it the one with the like the professionally filmed, like on the podcast, or was it another one?
No, it looked like he was just in his apartment on his phone. Might have been doing like just some quick responses to like Instagram or TikTok questions.
Yeah.
And someone was just giving him a bit of lip, and he was telling him, thanks for the thanks for bumping up the algorithm, mate. We'll probably get another 100 subs out of this.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what happens.
Tell your story walking.
That's it.
Yeah. Now, if people knew in the TikTok comments how much and what we say about like how funny we think people's comments are, it is humorous, but it is what it is, and we definitely use those guys sometimes as marketing. Obviously, there's always going to be people out there that write stuff, but yeah, the system doesn't change the way it's run and still keeps winning regardless of what people say about it. So, yeah. Next on the list of questions, I want to kind of know, or we want to know, and everyone else out there, who the fuck are you? Basically.
Yeah, that's it.
Basically, like what do you do? Do you work full time? Et cetera.
Yeah, easy, mate. I'm pretty average. So I'm 34, father of 4. Work full time. I won't go into specifics about where, but essentially, customer service office job. Income wise, I'm on under 70 grand a year. Again, without getting specific.
Yeah.
There's a few perks and bonuses and stuff on top of that, but in terms of what I take home, it's not really much more than the average. My partner works part time, so we're basically a one income household.
Yeah.
In terms of I guess how I'm set up, it's pretty average. Yeah, I'm not anyone special, or some sort of high roller that's coming in to clean up. It's literally just I've got a fair bit of cash, and I want to understand how it works really.
I think the good thing that you said there is that you're not a high roller, and you don't have you're not here to make stacks of cash at the start. But, the reality is
Yeah.
that anybody that does get into this kind of space, A, you don't need stacks of cash, which is what we kind of preach, and that's the beauty of match betting and everything that's done here is that you don't need a shit ton of cash. It's great for 18, 19, 20-year-olds that are at uni that have a part-time gig, and it's also great for people like yourself that have a bit of spare time on the side, a bit of spare money, and they want to use some of their time and use some of their money to make more money. So that's the benefit, I guess, of match betting. And yeah, spot on. You don't need a whole lot of cash, and it's not about making cash overnight or getting rich quick, but it's about building sustainable ways in which you can incorporate it into your life. As you said, if you're nursing the kids down and you can lay a couple bets here or there, or you got some spare time on a Saturday because you're looking after the kids and they're watching TV, and you can sit there with your laptop. It's pretty convenient. So yeah, I'm excited to watch you learn this. I know that you're also a pretty switched on dude. So you don't have to be a rocket scientist to do this stuff, but you do have to have a passion to want to learn it and to be able to do that. And I know, having known you personally, I'm excited to see where it goes with all this and to kind of document it all.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
and
nice.
I guess to give I guess a bit more background about why this kind of interests me, or why I think it might work. I have done sort of these side hustle kind of things before. I know I had a conversation with Tommy in the lead up to it about what I've sort of done in the interim. Obviously, I've busted my ass the last couple of years. Went from having a fair bit of debt to a fair bit of money saved up. Then it got to the point where I was kind of investing in myself and my education, and that sort of stuff, and came to realize that money sitting in the bank, it's worth less and less every year. I mean, don't get me wrong, I want to save cash, but especially now we're going through what looks like potentially a recession, and cost of living's going through the roof. Um, Having $50 in my pocket's worth a lot less than it was 6 months ago. Um, yeah, over the last couple of years, I've sort of dipped my toe into everything. Spent a bit of time off work and was just day trading crypto, and kind of put my head in that tank for a while. I got in and out fairly quickly. It's obviously a bit of a disaster at the moment. Anyone that's got Bitcoin out there, just hang on to it. There's no point getting rid of it now. It's worth nothing. Um, and also I flip a lot of trading cards. So I play and collect trading cards. Over the years, I've built up a bit of a collection. There's a few that I'll buy and sell pretty quickly. There's a couple I'll hold on to purely for speculation. And then again, like most people, I've put money into the stock market. Long-term investment, put it in there, forget about it, sit tight. Again, that's all bottoming out at the moment. It keeps going down every day, but it's the sort of thing where I'm going to put money into it and just leave it, forget about it. As long as the bills are paid, as long as I can keep a little buffer in the bank and that sort of stuff, I'm happy. So, having talked to Tommy
Think,
about, without going
yeah,
into the specifics of how this works, by being able to again invest in myself and make my money work for me. Obviously, I'm intrigued as to what sort of results this puts up and how that can build, from nothing into a really solid income.
I think what I like about your story as well, Pete, and where you're coming from in a sense is that what you've done over the last couple of years would be, I think, a pretty normal story for a lot of people, in their mid to late 20s as well, who were looking to do something with their excess cash, or they did build up a bit of debt through COVID or pre-COVID, and then if they lost their job or whatever, there are people out there looking for different side hustles or looking for ways to make money. And as you said, a lot of people did get into that crypto trading space, and it does
Yeah,
take, you can't master crypto trading, and especially day trading, in a short period of time, right? And that's why I think match betting is so awesome compared to these other side gigs, which you can make a lot of money doing, but the risk associated with them compared to the risk of match betting, which is near on none, essentially, and the ability to be able to learn it and consume it. Like, you can learn and understand match betting within a month if you go through the right courses and understand what's going on. You're not going to be a pro match better in a month, but you're going to be able to make money and understand what's going on. And as I said, with little to no risk, right? And that's the difference between doing that or jumping into day trading and trying to understand that is, it's going to take years to master that. And there's a lot more risk associated with those kind of investments. So that's the beauty of match betting. And we've had a load of people jump into platinum or jump into the system and say, I was watching it, it seemed a bit too good to be true. You guys talk about risk free, or you make profit every month, and I just thought it was a bit bullshit. But then I saw your podcast or saw you on YouTube and thought, oh, okay, maybe you are a little bit more legit. I'll jump in and check it out. And then they've been here for 6-12 months now, and it's maybe it hasn't changed a life for everybody, but there are definitely people that are taking it a lot more seriously than others, and it has 100% changed their life. So that's the beauty again of match betting, and what the system does is it's pretty accessible for everybody. It's very, very low to no risk at all compared to the other investments that you can do with the smaller sizes of capital. And that's again why I'm pretty excited to watch you go through it and document it, because I have no doubt you'll be successful. But watching you be successful and documenting this, I'm sure so many people will be able to watch this, relate to you, and then go, oh fuck, why don't I give it a try? If this guy can do it, he's got 4 kids that he's looking after, he's working full time, and he's still got a side income. Why the fuck can't I do it?
Yeah,
I think that's. I think, funnily enough, guys, just very quickly, I think the whole low risk free thing, it probably actually scares some people. Like when you talk about like crypto, people look at stuff like Shiba Inu, where it's like I can, 12 months ago, I'll buy $100 worth of Shiba Inu, and then 6 months later, I'm a millionaire. Assuming you got rid of it and you could clear it out, and it's like, oh my god, that's amazing. Like I've just got to find the next crypto coin that's going to do that, and it'll change my life overnight. And it's like, well, I mean, unless you are hardcore into it, unless you do your research, unless you are going to devote hours and hours and hours of reading charts and checking histories on these companies, who's created it, what's the technology, da 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 da, you'll never find it. You might as well buy lottery tickets, or as we've talked about, prior to this, Tommy, you might as well go and put on $52 20-leg multis and hope one of them gets up, because you've got about the same chance of. Yeah,
100%.
It's just a gamble. Whereas if you tell somebody, look, put $1,000 into the stock market, and in 12 months' time, assuming everything is up and running, you'll have 6, 8, 10% increase on your money by doing nothing. Literally, just put it in there. Cost you $2 on a trading platform. Cool, that's fine. But if you want to combine the two, you want to do a bit of research, put a bit of work in, and make some money, that's why I'm interested in doing this. If I can get paid for my hobby, then why not?
Yeah.
100%.
The one thing I want to talk about here, hopefully no one's, this is not financial advice, but the reality is anything you invest in, whether it be putting it into an index fund that's going to apparently go up 6 to 8% every year, which is obviously historically what's happened. People will hate hearing this. Even buying a house, it is full on gambling. Like you are relying on the market to go the direction you want it to go according to luck, chance, whatever. And people say, no, it's not luck. It always goes up. The reality is you can buy a share today or in an index fund, and we've already seen this year 20% decrease or whatever it is in global markets, right? Whoever's bought that at the start of the year, they're down 20%. So the beauty of match betting, the beauty of the system is there is no risk in the long term. It's mathematically impossible that you can lose unless you, number one, lose your edge, which is losing your accounts, which is what we teach, sustainability, not getting banned. And then number two, going away from the system from a discipline or from a not following it properly point of view. Those are the only two things that can stop you from losing. And you'll never find another investment on the planet that you can get that mathematical edge from. They're giving you that edge for free. It'd be like investing with getting 70% rebate on every time you hit a losing stock or a losing trade. Obviously, you're going to come out on top, giving you free money. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is the ROI. Unfortunately, a lot of people, like you mentioned, they want to get into like Shiba. They want to go from 100 to 1 million. That dream, that idea, that psychology of being obsessed with instant gratification is the downfall of so many people, not just in betting, but in any investment. And Forex trading, worst investment on the planet for anyone who has no idea. They just literally get rounded up by big banks. And I'm sure you understand crypto would be the same on a lesser scale, but it all comes back to even if you're a professional trader, these guys are only making at the top 20 to 30% year on year, right? Which is heaps for the amount of bankroll that they have. But if you've got $1,000, you make 20%. You're only making $200 for the year, right? For most people, they're like, what's the point? And that's why they go chasing these fucking other things. But the beauty of match betting is you can come in with this with 1,000, 2,000, and that can be like compounded over a year, and you could easily make 30, 40, 50K starting off with that 2K or 1,000. And that's where it's a completely different investment. So
well, with match betting, like with your first grand, like realistically, even if you didn't follow any sustainability tips, you didn't follow anything at all, and you just went ham, chasing your deposit offers or whatever, which is what a lot of rookie match bettors do.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to turn the 1,000 into 2,000 in a month, like you will, but you're obviously going to burn your ability to make any money in the long term using them. But there's still, as you said, there's no other investment on the face of the earth where you know that if you put your grand in and do it properly, you're going to get another grand back in a short period of time. And there's nothing that can stop you from doing that unless you physically make a mistake. That's the only thing stopping you. And then if you decide, hold on, wait, if I turn this grand into 2 grand, but do it properly and slowly, then I have 2 grand to utilize all of these other methods that I can use and use my accounts in ways to make a consistent profit. Again, these are all there are loads of full-blown no-risk methods, and then there are methods where mathematically in the long term you'll win, and in the short term, there's a potential to lose, 1 to 3% of your bankroll in the short term. But in the long term, if you keep following the investment, you're going to keep making money. And that's, and as Lee said, maybe that is the downfall of some of the sales and the marketing, is that when someone says it's risk-free or you're going to make money in the gambling industry, everyone goes, oh, well, it's a fucking scam because everybody loses. And that's just genius marketing by Sportsbet and by, literally everybody has been to a degree brainwashed to believe that, well, not believe, it's true. If you gamble, you will lose, and everybody knows that you'll lose, but they still do it, right? Whereas if you sit there and go, hold on, you can actually bet, not gamble. You can bet in a way that will allow you to make money consistently if you follow ABC rules and do it, remove emotion, stick to structure, stick to money management, and do these things that are taught, you will make money. And people just go, nah, mate, you're a scammer. This is a pyramid scheme. You're just trying to make money out of me. And unfortunately, the smart people find their way into the DMs. The smart people take the time to at least go through the content. There's so much free content as well. And then once they go through it, they're like, oh, fuck, these guys might be legit. They watch a podcast. They see us interview an 18 or 19-year-old kid that's doing it. Now they're going to see us interview you, Pete. And, this is the whole point of doing these things, and this whole point of documenting it all, to be like, wake the fuck up. You can do this. Stop gambling. Just don't put a multi on. Do this.
Yeah. And for whatever reason, people always like, if it was that easy, why wouldn't everyone do it? Why wouldn't everyone quit their job? Unfortunately, a lot of people don't have the patience. And secondly, it's a bit extreme to say, oh yeah, go quit your job. Like, obviously there's levels. People do live off it, but you got to start small. You got to be realistic. Don't come into it with unrealistic expectations, trying to make 10 grand in your first month or something like that. But I think that's a nice discussion there for sure.
The thing that I always think about when someone's like, oh, why doesn't everybody do it? It's like, well, why doesn't, everybody knows that if you're a doctor and go through medical school and graduate and become a doctor, you're going to make, 250K a year. So why doesn't everyone just do that?
Yeah.
It's like, well, people aren't disciplined. People aren't structured. People don't have the capacity to be able to learn that and to study that and to do that. So everybody's different, but this is why match betting's elite, because you don't have to be a rocket scientist. You don't have to be smarter than the average human being. We're not smarter than the average human being. Like, we're not sitting here. We didn't get 99 ATARs. We're not, we didn't do anything spectacular like that. But if you can remove emotion, you can be disciplined, patient, and structured, you can make money. And lots of people can do that if they want to do that. And we're not sitting here telling you have to quit your job to do it. As I said, you can do it on the side. You've got 4 kids. You're about to start doing it.
I'm not leaving my full-time job anytime
soon,
boys.
And you're not somebody that has 50 hours free a week to be able to do it, and that's not what we're saying that you need to be able to do. So I'm excited to watch you do it and to have it documented, so that when people watch you do it and go, fuck, this guy's got 4 kids and he works full time and he only has 12 hours to himself a week and he's dedicating 4 of them to match betting. Fuck, it must be all right if this guy's giving up his free time to do it. So
question.
That's it.
Why? I think you mentioned we've obviously you're in the system. You've just briefly jumped on to that and had a suss of, you haven't placed any bets yet or created any accounts, I don't think. Being your age, obviously you're not 18, why haven't you created any betting accounts before this? Like, it's pretty rare to find someone
Great
your age
question.
without any betting accounts.
Yeah. I thought you guys might wonder about that when I was giving you the initial info. So it's not that I've never had an account. Again,
Yeah.
probably I don't think I've actually placed a direct bet in probably 5 or 6 years at least. It'd be since my youngest daughter was born. So yeah, so that's almost 7 years now then probably. I used to jump on in terms of an account. I think I had a sports bet account and maybe a Ladbrokes account way back in the day. And it was literally just like they'd play an ad on the radio. I'd be listening to SEN, and it'd be like, oh, it's Bob Murphy's 200th game, and we're paying $8 if he kicks 2 goals for a max bet of $20. And I'm like, a bargain. He plays up forward. The Dogs are a good team. It's only $20. Yeah, sweet. Let me open my phone, download the app, jump on, put $20 on, see what happens. He didn't kick 2 goals, whatever. It was only $20. And that was it. I'd leave it alone. I wouldn't touch it. Primarily, the reason that I haven't had accounts, man, is I don't like to bet on anything that I can't control. Now, I'm not, we're not in total control of horse racing and that sort of stuff. I'll jump on a like a sweep and all that at work for the Melbourne Cup. My old man loves to punt on the horses. He'll be down at the RSL or the golf club on the weekend, putting quaddies on left and right. I tell him he's crazy, but that's how he spends his Saturday afternoons with his mates. I used to pick horses just based on the names or the colour of the silks. Like that was it. Like, yep, cool. That's got a name of a
the illusion of control. That's one a lot of people suffer from, whether it's their birthday or lucky number, wife's name or whatever. 100%.
Yeah, but if you don't have an edge, picking them from the color of the silks is just as good at any other way to pick them, to be honest.
Yeah. Other than that, like I might put, again, if I'm going out for lunch with my old man, and we're sitting down, like we put $5 through the trackside machine, and like they're going to be as rigged as anything, don't they? Like the old Robo horse. But again, it's like, the numbers would come up, and you'd see it. Number 12 hasn't won all day. It's got the name of a mate of mine, or it's whatever it is. You just I'll put $5 on the next race while we sit here and have a beer, and but yeah, mostly it's just, I just don't like gambling on something that I don't have control on. I'll sit down and play poker with people. That's fine, because if I lose, it's my own fault. Again, I was doing the crypto thing for a while again, because the money that I put aside for that, I said, well, look, if I lose this, I'm prepared to lose it. If I haven't done my research properly, well, it's my own fault. The same as what we're doing here. Again, you guys talk about it's low risk or risk free. I've got money that I'll set aside for this, and we'll sit down, and if I don't follow the system properly and I haven't done it and I lose my money, well, okay, cool. Well, that was my fault. It's not that it doesn't work. I haven't done it properly. So yeah, I've just never set the accounts up because I don't like putting money into anything that I don't have some sort of control over.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Now you're in a very strong position, as we've spoken about personally to you. You're in a position where obviously you can make a lot of profit, as Tom mentioned, off the sign-up offers. However, you're also in a position where you need to nail the setup. And a lot of people don't really consider the second option. They just look at the profit. New service that's been kind of just blown up in the last couple of months. Absolutely just hammering 0.1. Just chase profit, sign up, make 3K in your first day on a Saturday, take all the bookies up, and then deal with the rest later. And it's like, are you here for the short term or the long term? And I can tell what you're here for. And obviously we're going to make sure that you've got number 1 and 2 with a priority over 2 coming first. So that's getting your accounts right before you cash in. So I know
obviously
but yeah, Tom.
The thing that benefits Pete here is that, majority, like literally like 99% of people that are gambling just think about, once a bet's placed, they just think about what they're going to win if it wins. Whereas you seem to be somebody that thinks, if I place this bet, I'm probably going to lose it. And you consider that side of the transaction more so than how much am I going to make from putting the money down. And that's a vital step in the whole process of gambling, right? Because majority of the people, when they put that multi together, it might have 2 legs in it, right? And they've got their $10 in their stake, and they can see it's returning $27. That's only $27. And they put in another leg. This guy will definitely get 10 disposals, 15 disposals. Now it's $40 return. A little bit more. I want to make $100 for the weekend. So they put in like 4 more legs, and now it's $100. And they're only looking at that return number, right? They don't even consider that the money that they're about to put on it is more often than not going to disappear. Whereas you seem to be the complete opposite, and you're not getting sucked in by this final figure. You're more focused on, all right, what am I putting on here, or what am I betting here, or what am I investing here? And that's an elite mindset to have. It's not the mindset that a lot of people do have, but the fact that you can even consider that before you've jumped in here is going to enable you to be a lot more patient and a lot more successful.
Yeah, I've literally got a mate. I've literally got a mate. I won't name him, but in our fantasy footy group chat, he throws up his Friday night multi every week. He doesn't bet heaps. I think the most I've ever seen him outlay on it's like $20. But he does it for the laughs. Like he goes nuts, right? So like you had the Saints, the Saints Dogs game last week, and I think one of the legs he had in there was like Jack Steele to lay 15 tackles or something insane like that. And like his $20 multi was going to pay like $63,000 or something because why not, right? But he does this every week. So over the course of the season, it's like $500, right? Assuming he doesn't win any of them, and he's won a couple, like here and there, like the serious ones where he'll put on, a couple of blokes to get 20 plus possessions, someone to be an anytime goal kicker, and one team, right? It's like 4 legs, easy stuff, paying bucks, and he wins it, and he's happy with it. But he just does it for the laughs, and can afford to. He's like, it's $20. What do I care? But I guess the other side of it is like my old man. And I know some of you and I have talked about this, like the amount of money that he must have put into pokies, and I know that's different, but pokies are they're criminal as far as I'm concerned.
It's the same mindset.
Yeah. But the amount of money that he's put into pokies, and like I said, when he bets on horses, he's not betting heads up. He's never betting on a horse to win. It's like trifectas and quaddies all day long because
bigger payout.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's because I'd rather spend $150 putting a quaddie on, with all these different options, and hoping that it pays out, thousands and thousands of dollars, versus just tipping, 5 winners for the day and coming away with $100 or $200 profit. Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, you pretty much nailed the gambler mindset in any, not just Australia, just anywhere. But that's how it works, and it's just humans summed up pretty much. They're always going to choose the bigger payout. We did another podcast talking about multis and kind of people not really understanding the chance of you winning is so low. The eggs, like go stand outside your house. Seen that one?
I saw that one that you guys did with the 4,000 eggs. Yeah. Like go pick an egg. Yeah. If you get it wrong, come back tomorrow. And it's like, it's like, but it's not 3,999 eggs anymore. It's a different 4,000 eggs.
Yeah.
It's like you aren't any better this time around. But people think that, like I said, my mate that does his Friday night multi,
I've lost 10 in a row, so the next one has to be like, I'm due. Yeah. Like I'm due for one. You hear that all the time, I'm due, or I'll get the winner at the last race, and it doesn't work like that.
No. The funny thing is, right, is see what happens with my mate. He'll like, so he had this stupid one last week, right, where it was never going to win. It was like 8 or 9 legs, painless, because he just put on the most ridiculous things, but it was funny. Like, let's see what happens. And hey, if it wins, oh my god, like we're laughing. Next week, like this coming Friday, he will put a bet on, and it'll be like, who's playing? Richmond and Freo. He'll put a bet on, and it'll be like Jack Riewoldt to kick a goal, Nat Fyfe to kick a goal, Fremantle to win by 20 plus points, and that's his multi for this week because he lost last week. Now he's like, all right, let me get a little bit more serious and a little bit safer, so I can win back the $20 that I lost last week, and then the week after that, or the week after that, he'll put on another stupid, crazy one just for the laughs. And again, like, it's not hurting him, but the people who are doing it, where it's like, I'm going to put on this multi because I need, my car just got smashed up and I need $2,000 to get it fixed. Yeah. So let me put a 10-1 multi on Friday Night Football to try and get that cash. Yeah. Like, you're nuts.
No, there was a guy on TikTok. Someone tagged me in it, and he actually had he won. I think it was like $2,000. And he put, I think it was like $30 on something, and it won. It was some weird combination of greyhounds, right? And this guy's celebrating, like raw fucking video of him laughing, saying, "I can't believe I won," or whatever. And in the comments, he's like, "I needed the money. I had a loan. Like I needed to pay someone back." And it's like, bro, why are you gambling when you've got a loan? Like, fuck.
Literally.
And that's like the reality of a lot of people. And yeah, cool, he won, so he didn't really get a lesson. But most people that are doing that, they're not winning. They're going deeper into a deeper hole, and yeah, they're fucked basically.
The saddest thing about all of that as well is that somebody else that owes money or is in debt has seen that and gone, fuck, that's all, to pay off this debt, all I have to do is hit one multi. This guy did it, so I'll be able to do it.
The best one I ever saw, it was actually right after I was working with Tommy, because that was the year that Leicester City won the EPL, and they were like 5,500 to 1 or something was their odds at the start of the season. And then about 6 months after they won the Premier League, the Western Bulldogs won the AFL Premiership. I can't remember who it was. Might have been like Parramatta, I think, won the NRL. And the Cavs won the NBA, and the Red Sox won the baseball or something. And they were all like massive, crazy odds. And you saw like Facebook just got flooded from everywhere, and it was like, oh, if you had to put a $1 multi on Leicester City into the Bulldogs, into the Cavs, into you would have won $45 million. So click here to sign up now. And it's like, mate, I would have been happy just putting like $1 on Leicester City, and you win $5,000. Like that would have been amazing. Like, why are you telling people they need to put on like 6 legs across 8 different sports to win $45 million? Like, no one's winning that.
It's called hindsight experts and people who think they can, like with Sheba, like, oh yeah, if you put 100 in Sheba, you would be fucking XYZ million. It's like, bro, there's thousands of coins, and everyone's buying into these coins thinking it's the next Sheba, and it's like they're all losing. You only hear about the wins.
Yeah, I mean the crazy thing with that, right? And I had people that I was talking to that knew a hell of a lot more about crypto than I did when I was trying to get into it. I came out of it okay. Like one guy I knew he started in 2017, right when the first happened, and he from like $100 up to 300 grand just on crypto, right? But it was basically his job. Like he would get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and check like American stock charts, research all these companies, da 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 da. And even this guy who was putting like 30, 40 hours a week outside of his full-time job into it, even he didn't see something like Shiba coming. And then all the questions from the people that we were working with at the time was like, oh, did you guys get on Shiba? And we're like, mate, it's a bullshit thing that came from nowhere that nobody could have predicted this at all. And they're like, oh, but don't you guys know crypto? It's like, well, I know a bit, and he knows heaps, and even we didn't see it coming. How is anyone supposed to make any money off this, really? But then all the talk afterwards is like, look how much money you can make off crypto. Put $100 on a coin like Shiba, and you're a millionaire. I'm like, it doesn't work like that. Like, it's just crazy, and it's like you guys said, it's the same with gambling. These people who do these like massive multis, or they sit there and it's like, whatever it is, it's like, I need money for X, Y, and Z. Let me bet. Let me, even something as simple as like, let me just put, my last $200 on this 8-to-1 horse and hope that it gets up, because then all my problems are solved. And it's like, yeah, but if it doesn't, you're in a much worse. No, I hate it. I hate it, and I hate people that are in positions where they feel like that's what they have to do. People who chuck their money after something that they have zero control over. Like you said, there's no edge, no advantage. No matter how much research you do, you cannot control what happens with that. And so it's just like, stuff. Like, what are you supposed to do? You're better off taking that $200 and, talking to the people that you owe money to, or, sitting down with your partner, or, invest it back into yourself, do an online course or something, go get a better job. Like,
yeah, I think got 2 questions before we round it up. The first one is, I know we've briefly spoken about this, but did you think it was possible to beat the bookies prior to hearing about all this stuff? Like, do you know anyone out there that's actually profited off betting apart from Tom?
No chance. The only gambling stuff I'd ever heard or read where people had a quote unquote edge, people who count cards, and obviously there's like, my first job out of high school was working at Crown, and they have got a million billion different systems in place. As soon as they see you, you're done. And I guess a lot of that is like what you guys talk about with defense and sustainability. All the people that know how to count cards, they're like, that's not the hard part. The hard part's making sure you don't get caught.
Correct.
And the other one was actually when I was in training at Crown. One of the trainers there was like, had a big enough bankroll, and he was talking like 6 figures. You had a big enough bankroll, and you were willing to ride the highs and lows. There is a system that you can make money playing craps. But he's like, you need to be able to ride the highs and lows because again, you're just dice rolling. And he's like, if you have a day of shit dice rolls, you lose everything in a day. So you have to be prepared to like to die on the hill, but you can do it. And it was like, well, yeah, I mean, there's no point because I'm never gonna have $100,000 that I can just go and play on the craps table if I have a shit day of dice rolling.
The
But
all or
other than that,
nothing,
man,
unfortunately, don't work.
yeah.
And
Other than that, it's
yeah,
luck. It's not even luck. Like you said, there's a specific edge against with all these odds.
Yeah.
And yeah, you just you yeah. I keep coming back to it, man. But you're putting your money and your fate into something that you've got no control over. That's why I stay away from it. And
I
again,
think the funny thing, like how you've mentioned casinos, like even if you speak to the average gambler, a lot of people will go, "Nah, I won't touch the pokies, or I'm not gonna go to the casino because it's rigged there. Like they've rigged it. The house always wins." And then it's like, well, if surely you can extrapolate that just slightly to you understand that like the TAB always wins or sports bet always win, like that. It's the exact same concept, but people can't wrap their head around it. They won't go to the casino. They're not going to play roulette and stuff. They're like, no, it's rigged. I'm not going to play blackjack because it's 20 it's a push or whatever, or 22 whatever. It's a push, and the house has an edge. But it's like, mate, the bookie has a massive edge in every market that you bet in, and you don't even realize it, and you're still happy to bet there because you think that you know more than them. Like it's a ridiculous. Like when you just paint the picture like that.
Funny because when I worked at Crown and people used to talk about, the game's all rigged, there's it all set up. I'm like, no, there's maths to it, right? There's an edge. You bet on black or red on a roulette wheel. There's going to be times where it comes up, double zeros and everybody loses, and the casino makes money. And I was like, but the casino also makes money on the fact that while you're standing there, you're ordering, $15 bourbon, and you're having a few drinks, and when you're done, you're going to go back up to your $500 a night hotel room and and order $50 worth of breakfast, that sort of stuff. So they're going to make money off you one way or another. Even if you have a good night on the table, you're probably going to spend it while you're there. But something like the TAB, it's like, well, if you go, you can't even get a beer at a TAB. Like, if you go into just a standalone TAB, what are they making money from if not you?
Correct.
Like, what do you think they're doing?
Yeah, it's like people. I reckon a lot of people know this, but it's just ingrained that, like, your dad would know this. And sorry to speak if you don't want us to talk about your dad in a bad way, but like he would know he's losing, but he couldn't give a fuck. Like he just thinks it's normal to have fun and lose, and it's like, he can probably afford it. I don't know the situation, and lots of people can afford losing every week, but a lot of people can't, and those are the problem ones.
Yeah,
and they make a joke out of it.
I mean, talk about dad specifically, and I'll tell the same story that I told Tommy. And part of why I hate this, like when I first moved out of home, my dad was living with me. And I used to work in the city, and there'd be nights where I'd come home from work, and like my housemate would be there, and I'd be like, "Oh, where's Dad?" And he'd be like, "I haven't seen him all day." All right, cool. He's down the pub. He's down the RSL. He's at the golf club. Let me ring him. All right, he doesn't pick up his phone. Now I've got to do the drive around and go find him. And it's not that he was in trouble. It's just he's sitting in front of a machine with a pint in his hand, pushing the button. Not thinking about what time it is because he's sitting there chatting to his mate who's on the machine next to him. So, all right, cool, that's fine, that's sociable. He's spent a bit of time with his mates, that sort of stuff. But I never used to think about it when I was a kid, and he'd go out and he'd do these sorts of things. And it wasn't until I was a bit older and I actually saw it firsthand. And like, I would go down there, and there was I specifically remember one time, and I even remember the name of the machine, Big Red, dollar a line machine for anyone that knows poker. And I went down there, and he'd probably put $100 into it right before I walked in. And he's pushing the button, and I'm like, Dad, that's ridiculous. Like, what are you putting $100 in for? Da, da, da. He's like, no, don't worry about it, don't worry about it, don't worry about it. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, Dad, it's 9 o'clock. We got to go home. I have to get up for work in the morning. I can't sit here for an hour and watch you spin this. Like, and I can't walk away because you got no way to get home. Like, let's go. And he's like, all right, let me finish this, and then we'll go. So he kept pushing the button, kept pushing the button, kept pushing the button, and he hits a jackpot, and it was like $6,000. And he's like, there you go. That's why we're here. Da 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 da. And so the next day, I was talking to him, because he's like, I'm going to give you some, and let me do this, and let me sort that out, and blah blah blah. And I said to him, I was like, how much do you reckon it cost you to win that, Dad? Like, how long had you been there before? Not just last night, but like last week, last month. How long had you been there before you hit that jackpot? Right? How much of that is just your money coming back? And then I started doing the math in my head, and I'm like, this was happening when I was about 20. I was like, I remember being 10, and like Dad would take the family out to the golf club, and we'd be sitting there and having dessert, and he'd nick off because he's putting $20 through the machine, or he's putting $50 through the machine. I said to Tommy, I'm like, I would love to see a register, or if you linked it to somebody's driver's license, where when you got to stick your driver's license into the machine, and it comes up with your lifetime balance, and it's like, here you go, here you go, Dad. $25,000 down over, since you turned 18 and you started gambling on pokies. This is how much money you've lost. And and when you go to put a quaddie on at the TAB, you got to give them your driver's license so they can register it against your driver's ID or whatever it is, and be like, yeah, cool, no worries. Here's your bet. Here's your statement. You're $30,000 down on the horses over your life. Because your winnings don't mean shit. Because anything you've won, you've just fed back to them 100 times over.
Correct. You're just getting back a portion of whatever you've already lost, and that's how they continue to get you to keep.
Yeah, and that's
gambling.
the worst part. Winning those things is the worst part, because it makes you come back and makes.
So now that we're talking about winnings and making money, let's get back a little bit on track. What do you think? Like, what would you consider over the next? As you said, you've got 1 to no betting accounts. You've never really gambled or bet. You don't know a whole lot about match betting, but you're interested to learn. You've just jumped into the system. You're just following at the moment. You haven't opened up any accounts. You haven't placed any bets. Let's say in 6 to 12 months' time, what would you consider a success? What would you consider, match betting is successful? At what point would you advocate for it to other people that could do the same thing? Like, when would you consider this a success? And what are you trying to get out of this, essentially?
Yeah. I'll start with the last part first. In terms of what I'm getting out of it, I'm getting paid for my hobby. I'm getting paid for my spare time. Why would I not do that? I can sit down on a Saturday afternoon and chuck the PlayStation on for 5 hours, and enjoy myself. But what have I actually done? I've had a nice relaxing afternoon. I've not had to think about work. But where am I? What have I actually accomplished?
Yeah.
That's the first part of it. Is let's put our spare time to better use. See what we can't do with it. In terms of money, it's a hard one to gauge because I don't fully understand how it works. I see you guys talk about percentages a lot in terms of turnover with the bonus bets in the videos that I've watched, in the chat and that sort of stuff. I know I've had a chat a couple of times sort of about unit sizes and where to start. I've followed for sort of the last week and a bit and had a look at, sort of the unit numbers that you put on a Saturday, and, can kind of do the math in my head. The idea for me is to essentially start from the bottom. I'm looking at, what does a $10 unit size start with? Now, you guys might turn around and say, hey, look, with between platinum, between the system, with, a virgin record, so to speak, with no accounts and all that, you can start a little bit higher, you can turn things over a bit quicker, and still maintain that defense and that sustainability for the next 6 months. And again, if we're talking 6 months of system plus platinum, what, about 1,500 or something is the initial outlay, something like that.
Yeah, if you were to buy Unity and platinum, you're looking at I would say like around about 1850, but we could probably do anyone who's jumping on a yearly and a platinum most likely will could do a combined discount.
Oh, of course. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
We'd like to reward the long term people, but yeah, let's say like
Yeah.
around about 1700 more so.
Yeah.
Go with that.
Yeah. So I mean, if you told me that over the next 12 months I was going to get that back plus that again, I'd be laughing. I mean, I'm not going to be able to do that putting it in a term deposit. You're not going to be able to do that, trading stocks. You're not going to be able to do that crypto. I'm not going to be able to do that, flipping trading cards or anything like that. So if you told me that over the next, 6 or 12 months, it's going to be say, 4 grand back in my pocket. Well, yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you do it? You'd be laughing.
Well, yeah, both services come with a refund guarantee, but on the yearly, we actually have a profit guarantee, which I think it's 150 units now. So if you were to have, let's say, over the year, you're obviously going to start on a lower unit size. You probably end up with a higher unit size. Let's say on average, you end up the year at, let's go conservative, $25 unit size. System went 400 units profit last year, currently on track to probably make just over 300-ish this year, depending on what happens. Big month currently. But let's go with a conservative 300 and multiply that by 25. What do we got, Tom? 7 grand?
Well, I was gonna say I'm not doing the numbers in my head, but I was gonna say to Pete that if he invests the $1,600 or whatever into platinum and
Yeah.
the system and doesn't make, say you started zero from there, if you don't make 5K from there for the year, I'd make up the difference out of my own
Yeah,
pocket.
I'd pay it to you as well.
No,
Yeah.
literally, there's no way that if you do things the right way, that you're not going to make at least 5K within a 12-month period. Like, that's not being ridiculous, or it's just the reality is, like, even if you did nothing right and signed up to all 42 bookies or whatever, you're probably going to make 2 or 3K there alone without even following the system. So I personally would be shattered for someone like yourself, and I know you personally, and I know that you're clever. I know that you switched on, and I know that you do things properly. If you didn't make, I would say if you didn't make 10K within 12-month period, I'd be not disappointed, but I'd be shocked if you were doing it properly and investing a bit of time into it. I'd be shocked if you didn't make 10K this year for sure.
Yeah, I'm thinking
I think
probably 10, 20 easily, but yeah, go conservative and say
I
10.
think the thing for you guys, I guess, to keep in mind as well. Yeah, I think something for you guys to keep in mind as well when you talk about this stuff, when you're putting it out there, those numbers might be realistic, absolutely. But if you came to me fresh and like, look, as I said, Tom, I know you. If it wasn't your face that popped up, I would have never hunted that person down. I never would have sent a DM. I would have just been like, yep, cool, whatever, off you go. It's only because I knew you from way back, and with the chase the ace, and I know, that you were always looking for these sorts of edges. That there might be something to it. When you tell somebody, and whether they're a consistent gambler, and let's be honest, like most gamblers are losing.
Yeah.
That, hey, if you invest this, you're going to get tenfold back. It's going to blow people's minds. It's like, that doesn't sound real.
Yeah.
It sounds like a scam.
And it sounds too good to be true. It's like bullshit. You have baited a hook. You are trying to get money out of me, and then I'm never going to hear from you, or it's not going to work, and you're going to tell me that I did it wrong, or that I was unlucky, or whatever it was. And that's all it is. It's you guys putting money in your pocket. And so look, I 100% I believe you. I'm being ultra conservative with it because, as far as I'm concerned, that's where I'm starting off. In 6 months' time, you might come back to me. We're going to document this, and I'm going to be taking a lot of notes and recording some messages and whatnot. In 6 months' time, I might turn around and say, guys, with the coaching and the guidance that we've got, I've got the hang of this, and I'm now I spend 4 hours on the weekend and I do this, this, and this, and I'm smashing it out, and I'm turning over this size and making this much in in a 4-hour window or a 5-hour window, just doing just doing Trumpy, plus the defense strategies and whatnot with Hussla. Yeah, cool, absolutely, and I mean that's part of why we're documenting it. But even me knowing you, Tom, when you turn around and you say, "Hey, you follow this, we've got it backed. We want to make sure that this works." and you're talking 5 figures. Like, it doesn't sound real. It's
Yeah,
almost
well, I
like,
think
oh, like, holy shit.
yeah, the funny thing is, like, people say as well, like, and they do come with that mindset, like you said, but there are a lot of people that, and you're not one of them, but they come with a losing gambling mindset, and they're like, and I see it all the time. I do all the system DMs, and they say, "Oh, it sounds great, mate. I really appreciate you taking the time, but I just know that if I join this service, it'll start losing." Like, that's what people say. They're like, if I join this, knowing my luck, you'll start losing. And I'm like, look, man, maybe you need to, watch through the videos again, or sit in the free chat for a while and understand that there's no, like, we're not sitting here going fucking fingers crossed, this month, geez, I hope we make profit. It's just, it's literally a mathematics and an edge thing. And in the long term, you will make profit, and you sitting at home, you don't have to cross your toes, or you don't have to have the same morning routine. You don't have to put your lucky undies on when you follow the system. It's just mathematics and edge. In the long term, you'll be making profit. And that's, I think, the beauty of the Hussla Squad, and why I think the Hussla Squad does get a little bit more conversion or a little bit more interest, is that they do offer, not they, we offer, there's a free course there. So sure, it might sound too good to be true, but mate, here you go. Here's 2 hours of content. Sit down, do this free course. Once you've finished it, you don't pay us anything. Once you finish it, you're going to know that every time you get a bonus bet, you can turn it into 65% of its value risk-free. And a lot of the time, there are people that come in very skeptical. They listen to the voice recording, they do the free course, and then they go, oh, holy fuck, you just gave me some knowledge and skills to be able to make money for myself, and you got no gain out of it. All right, maybe I'll listen to your podcast now, or maybe I'll ask a few more questions, see if they're legit. And then the people that are like, holy fuck, these guys are like, this is sick, I'm starting to make money. I see how there's an edge here. I see that there's no luck, and we're not gambling here. All right, I'm going to invest a bit more time. I'm going to invest a bit more money, and I'm going to take it and see where this goes. And that's why, yeah, I'd love for there to be somehow some way that we can do that with the system without giving away a free trial, because free trials, somebody jumps in, we don't make money for that day or for that week, they instantly think it's a scam and they disappear. And that's a hard thing to get across to a lot of people when they're brand new. And that's why I said to JP, I was like, look, let's record this with Pete, because I know that if we tell him something, he'll do it properly. And as I said, you're an average Joe. You work full time. You've got 4 kids. You're not some bloke. You're not some whiz bang, tech genius billionaire guy that's jumping in to promote our product.
Yeah,
You're literally you're the run of the mill. You're the run of the mill. Everybody can relate to you. So once you show people how simple it can be, and you're starting with someone with 0 betting accounts, like, you're going to have to learn how to place a bet again, kind of, and understand, how the app looks, and what the payout's going to be. And I'm really excited by it, and that's why I wanted to record this, and that's why I wanted you to record what you're doing, because I think, yeah, not only will you're going to make money out of it, but I think you'll also help a lot of people that are losing, or a lot of people that might watch this and go, holy shit, I can relate to this guy. This guy's talking sense. He's not trying to sell me anything. You're going to actually help a lot of people by documenting what you're doing. And that's why I'm pretty excited by it. Obviously, we're very passionate about what we do. And yes, our companies make money. And yes, we're, fuck the bookies and all this shit. But, we're spreading, we're trying to change the way that people think about betting, trying to change the way that people look at the industry and think about gambling as a whole. And, we're moving towards that. Not only are we making you money, but we want to drill into you that you've got to be patient, you've got to be disciplined, you have to follow the rules, you've got to be structured, or you're going to end up like everyone else, and you're going to continue to gamble, continue to chase, and continue to lose. So, yeah, I mean, I've had fun chatting to you. I look forward to to watching this grow, and I can't wait to do like a check-in in 3 months, 6 months, 12 months to see you do some videos, or when you go through the platinum course and start following the system. I can't wait for a day where we have 20 or 30 units profit and you're following properly, and you do a little recording of the day or show us your spreadsheet, and then you go, fuck, maybe Tommy was right, maybe I can make 10 grand this year. And I can't wait for that light bulb moment, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, honestly, the scariest thing for me, it's not even that side of it. It's knowing how to do it. It's okay, when when you get up on Saturday morning and you open up the laptop, it's okay, what information do I need to have in the spreadsheet? When you guys talk about spreading things across the bookies, okay, how do I line that up? What does that look like? How am I gonna map the day? How am I gonna plan that out? Because I think that's, again, for people that are probably doing something like this themselves regularly, I think that's probably intimidating to be like, hey, it's not just 1 or 2 apps that you've got on your phone. It's like there's a lot of preparation, there's a lot of work go into it, but I mean, it's the same as everything, man. You know, you're not going to go and be an engineer unless you've done a degree. You're not going to go and run a marathon without hitting the gym a couple of times a week. You got to do preparation to actually get the most out of it.
Yeah. No, spot on. And you've definitely got the patience required. Yes, it does sound complex, but I promise you it's super easy once it all falls into place. But it must just start with some patience, and you've got that. And we have no doubt that you're going to cash in and obviously come back to us in 3 months and have different goals for sure. But we'll leave it there for now.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool.
Probably, yeah, we'll keep in touch, and then we'll follow you up in 3 months' time or whatever, and let the listeners know. And we look forward to. I think you're going to be vlogging some stuff, so feel free to send those across as well.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. I don't really have any sort of social media, so I'll record some stuff sort of privately, and send it through for you guys. I'm going to be diarising all of this, so I'll have a fair bit of stuff sort of written down. Yeah, and we'll keep going with the sort of daily, weekly, monthly updates along the way, and yeah, off we go.
Definitely.
Too easy. Well, lovely chatting to you, Pete. Good to reconnect. And as I said, yeah, always a pleasure with you. Bit of a pain with JP, but yeah, we got here in the end. And as I said, I'm really excited to see. Like, I'm looking forward to the 3, 6, 12-month check-in, because it'll be funny watching this back. We'll probably sit down and we can have a beer. JP doesn't drink beers, but maybe we can have a Canadian club and and talk about it all in a year's time
as well, mate.
CC and dry, mate. That's the way. That's my dream.
I've probably had 6 of them in 5 years, so he's taken.
A few soda waters, we'll be right.
Yeah.